Nutrition for kids with ADHD. Hi, I'm Carrie, your nutrition guide. The ADHD brain functions a little differently when it comes to food and nutrition. Together, let's help fuel your kid's body and unlock the mind with the power of food. We as caregivers don't have to be superheroes. All we have to do is try our best because every little bit makes a difference. We will start by paying attention to sugar, preservatives, and food dyes, and then discover ways to create an overall balanced diet. The brain is basically fueled by a type of sugar called glucose, so we will not be avoiding sugar altogether, but making sure we give the brain the amount it needs, and no more. An ADHD brain on too much sugar can feel like being on a roller coaster. This feeling can show up in many ways, including some of the more common symptoms, like difficulty focusing, impulsiveness, bouncing with energy, and having a short attention span. The stomach and the brain are connected by a nerve, so they have interesting conversations throughout the day. The brain tells the stomach it's hungry and time to fuel up. An ADHD brain sometimes confuses hunger with a craving for sugary foods. This is where you can help make decisions with your child. The more your child knows, the more they will be willing to try alternative food choices. If your child eats extra sugary foods, too much of one type of food, or even foods with oddly named chemicals in them, then the stomach tells the brain to get ready for a blast coming its way. That's like the uphill part of the roller coaster. Once it hits the brain, look out! Your child is on the downhill, whipping around and full of energy part. So why is nutrition so important? Well, the types of food and even the amounts of a specific food eaten at one time helps turn the ADHD roller coaster into a long straight highway. It's kind of magical. Your child's body can only process a little sugar at a time, whether it comes from refined sources like sweets and white bread or natural sources like whole grains and fruit. This is where you help limit these foods and find delicious alternatives. Let's talk about the types of food the ADHD brain thrives on and address the foods that need to be reduced or removed that are potential roller coaster foods. To help control the amount of food your child eats at a time, the hand portion method is very handy. Your child's hand size, not your own hand size, is a way to measure the more appropriate portion sizes. He can't leave his hand in his room, in his locker at school, or on the kitchen counter. It goes with him everywhere. His hand even travels from caregiver to caregiver. As we discuss the main food groups, we will discuss the corresponding hand portions. The main food groups are grains, protein, fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats. We will also slip in the category of sometimes foods. For example, as much as we try, your child will probably want a piece of cake at a birthday party. No one expects you to be perfect, and changing your child's diet will take trial and error and a sprinkle of creativity. Your child needs to eat grains like bread, pasta, and rice. The grain category is very important because these foods provide instant energy. Yes, you heard me correctly. Our energetic kids need energy food. The catch is that they need whole grains like whole wheat breads and whole grain pastas, brown rice, oatmeal, and even the less common ones like quinoa, couscous, buckwheat, and barley. The whole grains have fiber to help slow the sugar's path into the body and brain, and they contain very important brain vitamins. Here is where your child's hand becomes a fantastic measuring cup. When your child eats whole grains, the measurement is about 1 to 2 fist sizes, or 1 to 2 slices of bread, which is usually enough at each meal or snack. We are not restricting calories, so feel free to add food from other food groups if your child is truly hungry. Children with ADHD are pretty wiggly and very energetic, so they need more protein to refill their muscle stores. Nice lean protein, like chicken, turkey, and eggs, is recommended, but all meats are okay. Some plants are also good protein sources, such as nuts and seeds, beans, and soy. Start with one palm-sized portion. It's okay to serve 2 portions, but after this, head to another food group category. I know you are looking at your palm right now, so remember that when you serve your child the food, it's your child's palm size, not yours. Dairy products like milk, cheese, and creams have protein as well. But pay attention to the portion size on the food label for these and stick to 1 portion only at each meal or snack, because dairy also contains some natural or even some added sugar. Fruits and vegetables contain vitamins and minerals that are crucial for your child's brain and body to function properly. Think of them like tiny cars in the body traveling to their destinations that could help improve focus, impulses, cravings, and more by sending them onto that smooth highway. You may have heard that if you eat carrots, it will help your eyesight. That's actually true. Carrots contain the tiny car called vitamin A that drives all the way to the eyes. Vitamin A is necessary to keep the eyes functioning properly. The same works for the brain. Your child has to eat the tiny cars that are the vitamins and minerals to keep the brain's motor running smoothly. In a perfect world, your child would eat about 3 servings of fruit and 3 servings of vegetables per day. In the real world, just try to make sure your child eats a variety of fruits and vegetables each day, so all of the vitamins and minerals, or brain and body tiny cars, get covered throughout the week. Vegetables are an all-you-can-eat buffet since they are low in sugar and high in fiber and help keep your child off that wild roller coaster. You do not need to measure any portions here. Just encourage your child to eat a variety of them. Potatoes and corn are the exceptions because their sugar content is closer to the amount in a grain than in a vegetable. These will need to be portioned to about 1 fist size at a time. You may be thinking that fruit has sugar, but luckily fruit also has that wonderful fiber to help slow down the release of sugar into the brain and body. 1 piece of fruit will keep your child off the roller coaster, but 2 or more at one meal or snack might send them flying. There is one more food group, healthy fats. These tend to have little to no sugar, but are meant to be eaten in small portions. More specifically, for an ADHD brain, omegas naturally found in healthy fats are great brain food. Omegas are in foods like fish, walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, and soybeans. They are important tiny cars to helping unlock your child's brain power. All of these suggestions will take time to implement, and you might need to get creative with your recipes or products on the market. So if you need to add supplements, check with your healthcare professional before you do. It's important to remember that not all food groups have to be eaten at each meal. A variety of food groups throughout the day works well. Try to aim for about 2 to 4 servings of each food group per day. Some food groups work well when paired together, so try to aim for 2 at each meal or snack. For example, an apple with a little handful of nuts, or a piece of toast with avocado and tomatoes on top. So, how do we handle foods that do not fit neatly in these categories? Food labels are the key here. Try to find products that have 10% or less added sugar, which is usually refined sugar added to make the food taste sweeter. If the label shows a total sugar of 10 grams and only 4 grams are from added sugar, then the rest of the 6 grams comes from the natural sugar in the food. For example, a child-sized serving of unsweetened applesauce might contain about 10 grams of total sugar and 0% added sugar. The 10 grams is a calculation of around how much natural sugar came from the apple itself. A child-sized serving of sweetened applesauce might contain about 17 grams of total sugar. The extra 7 grams, listed also as a percent, for example 14%, is from the added sugar. In this example, the unsweetened applesauce is similar to 1 serving of fruit, and the sweetened applesauce becomes more of a dessert. Foods that are desserts should only be eaten on occasion or sometimes. These tend to be high in sugar, so try to limit them to only special occasions. One last thing to consider are the ingredients on a food label that don't quite sound like real food. Most of these unpronounceable names are preservatives, food dyes, or have other random purposes. Try to avoid these as much as possible because they can send the ADHD brain back onto the roller coaster. Some examples are red dye number 40, yellow dye number 5, benzoic acid, butylated hydroxyanisole, also known as BHA, acesulfame K, and nitrites. Pay attention to your child's beverages too. These count and tend to contain a lot of added sugar, sending your child flying down that roller coaster. Caffeine can also have that effect, so try to avoid it when possible. Here is a quick summary to help you remember. Sugar is not bad. We just have to know what foods to eat to help reduce the roller coaster effect. Use your child-size hand to measure portions. Try to avoid white, refined grains and focus on providing whole grains. To help refill the muscles, try to include plant and/or animal protein throughout the day, about 3 or more portions per day. Limit dairy products to the portion size on the package. Vegetables are an all-you-can-eat buffet, except potatoes and corn. Limit those to 1 portion per meal or snack. Limit fruit to 1 fist-size portion at meals or snacks only because of the sugar content. Try to mix and match together 2 food groups at each meal or snack. Read food labels and try to find products that have 10% or less added sugar. Limit sometimes foods and desserts to mainly special occasions. Try to avoid food dyes, preservatives, and ingredients with unpronounceable names. Make sure to read the labels on your child's drinks too. Avoid caffeine and keep the sugar to a minimum. Overall, try to help your child to maintain a balanced diet of whole grains, protein, fruits, vegetables, and a little healthy fat. It was a pleasure being your nutrition guide. I hope this will help send your child with ADHD on the path of a smooth brain highway and off of that roller coaster.